What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and what is this? What episode is this? I don't even know. It's like 319 or something like. I don't know. We've been talking for a long time. We're just now getting into February. When you guys are listening to this, it's February 3rd. Super Bowl just happened. Insert team here won. You know, they played great, worked their hearts out. But man, remember that insert commercial here? That was amazing and fun, and God, it made me laugh. And of course, Budweiser, they did theirs. You know, that one brought the tears and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, it's hard talking about the future in the past because we don't know. What is it? 49ers versus Chiefs, right? I think, yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. Who knows? I expect it was going to be a pretty good game. Two teams that, although I don't care who wins, I'm not like against any team, you know, like it's not the Patriots. So I'm like, what's up? You know, good Super Bowl, right? Anywho, man, what do we even got? They're just, I feel like it's been a while, but it really hasn't, man. We talked to you guys last week and we had a lot of fun with that. Got to do the live Comic Palooza event with a bunch of other podcasts, which is a lot of fun. Talked a little bit about that last week. Oh, I do have some news for this week. I've totally forgot about the news that I had for this week. So if you head over to my Patreon, sign up for Patreon. It's only $1 a month. You get bonus episodes and stuff. I give a breakdown of all the comic book conventions that I'm planning on attending, and ones that I put out press junkets too. However, I do have some news to actually confirm. One of those conventions is actually coming really soon, February 14th through the 16th. It's the Geeks of Color Expo 2020 in Austin, Texas, at the Crown Plaza in Austin. Super excited to go there. It looks like a huge nerd, geek, comic book, anime, just everything that you can think of. But this convention actually focuses on people of color, like Black, Hispanic creators, which is really awesome because I am myself a Hispanic creator. So I got skin in the game, literally, with this convention. It's a new one. I don't think it's even, I think this is their first year doing it. I'm pretty excited to get a chance to check it out. They just got back to me today, which is Saturday, and can't be more excited than what I am. So I got 2 weeks till it goes there. Hopefully we get to talk to some cool creators. I don't really know the entire guest list. We'll have more information on that next week for the podcast. But so definitely February 14th through the 16th, Austin, Texas, at the Crown Plaza in Austin. You'll find me there at the Geeks of Color Expo, which it's called GCX. That's like their acronym, Geeks of Color Expo. Pretty excited to be there and can't wait. Other news, coming up later in the podcast, we're going to be talking about Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel, with a new writer, art team, and all that. So pretty excited. Miss Marvel, of course, was pretty much my favorite Marvel comics to come out in the past decade, and actually probably of all time. I think I've really rallied behind Kamala, really loved her character, even more than Spider-Man. You know, she's brand new, came out, in 2014 or ish, somewhere in that time frame. Can't really remember the exact year, but ever since she's come on the scene, man, she has been a force to reckon with, which is freaking awesome. And I'm excited to share with y'all my thoughts on the new series, the first 5 issues of that, because I think we kind of mentioned in another podcast about the new Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, with a new writer and stuff. But anyway, that's after the Nifty Nerd news and other stuff that I have to break down for you. But now that I'm thinking about the other stuff that I have to break down for you, there isn't any. So before I get into the Nifty Nerd news, guys, if you'll kind of enjoy what you hear a little bit, or maybe after the Nifty Nerd news you really enjoy what you hear, you can always like, subscribe, rate, review everything on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podbean, all those great places. But you can always want to talk to me, give me suggestions, or there's something in the news going on that you really want me to talk about. You can always hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, even Xbox Live. Everything is at Bry-Fy Podcast. That's Bryfy Podcast. We can talk nerd, news, games, being a parent, a nerd parent. I'm starting to go more plant-based in my diet now, which is kind of fun and interesting and weird. Actually, it's really weird. Because, I'm from Texas, Southeast Texas. I love barbecue. I love all those things. But I also love living and being there for my family. And the doctors kind of told me, hey, you need to watch your blood pressure. It's getting really high for someone your age. Your cholesterol is way higher than it needs to be. And I don't want to go like medicine route or anything like that. So me and my wife, we've talked, and she wanted to do it anyway. She wanted to go vegan. And I was like, well, slow down there. I will probably still have meat every now and then. But I think I'm going to go more plant-based, and where, maybe probably not even once a week I enjoy like meat or dairy or stuff, like cutting meat, dairy, cheese, all that crap out to try to help lower my blood pressure, help lower my cholesterol, and get me feeling better, and I think it's starting to work. I've actually been doing it for about 3 weeks now. I think in that 3-week span, twice I've had either dairy or meat. So I feel like I'm doing a pretty damn good job, guys. And it's not, and I don't, it's funny, like, okay, I'm just going to talk about it because it's something that I've been doing. I don't feel like this crazy urge of like, when I drive by a McDonald's or Burger King or Whataburger, the Texas restaurant of choice, like I'm not like watering at the mouth, like, give it to me, stuff that bacon in my mouth. No, I think I'm kind of changing my mindset on food, I want my food to taste good, but I'm not like trying to make my food this crazy experience or anything. I'm just eating to eat, let everything else be kind of cool. And I'm also kind of learning new recipes and how to make different types of substitutes. And that's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been like a game, you're trying to figure out stuff like, you probably play Breath of the Wild, or in the new Pokemon game, you mix and match different fruits, vegetables, meats, or whatever. Well, for me, not meats. And you make a cool dish, that optimizes like the health you gain and different stats that it can improve. So it's been kind of fun to do that. The one thing I'm looking at now, I've done, what are they called? Cauliflower buffalo wings, which honestly, when you fry them, I do use an air fryer, but put the breading on them, air fry them, smother them in whatever wing sauce you have. They're really good. You don't even really taste like the non-chicken, it just tastes like, it's just delicious hotness, man. And I love it. Like me, I'm delicious hotness. No, now I'm looking at a pulled pork recipe that uses mushrooms. Funny enough, mushrooms, when you take like a fork, they actually shred like pork meat or like chicken meat, which is kind of creepy and kind of crazy. And so I've seen people use that, shredded it up, cooked it, and then mixed it with like their favorite barbecue sauce to make a pulled pork sandwich. So that's something I'm going to try tonight. I'll probably take video or pictures so you guys can, this will be in the future. I'm telling you this into the future, but the pictures will be in the past. So it's like back in the present. Yeah, time travel. Shit. Oh, speaking of like that, funny, and this kind of goes with Nifty Nerd News. So let's just hit the thing into the Nifty Nerd News. All right, guys, so now that we're into the Nifty Nerd News, I can finish this thought that I had going in. Have you seen one of Walmart's new commercial that's going to be probably for the Super Bowl? They did this, I think, last year's Super Bowl. It was like this cool commercial, like where like all the different like famous cars through cartoons, movies, and stuff come to pick up their stuff because they were adding what was it, like pickup, and like a bunch of stores do that. You can call, they'll pick all the things up from the store that you want. Then you just drive to a certain parking spot that designates your number, and they bring it out. It's a really cool service. It's really fun, and I think it's actually free to use. And Walmart, pimping it out last year, did this cool thing where it was like all the famous pop culture cars driving up and picking it up. This year, they even go one further by just going all like balls to the wall crazy. I mean, what was it? Mars Attacks shows up in this. I think there was some Doctor Who stuff. No. I know for sure, though, there was Back to the Future stuff, which is what I want to talk about when I was talking about going to past, future, present, all that kind of weird shit. And they had like the young version and the old version of what was not Ted, but Bill, I believe. And I forget his name. But it was just a lot of fun. I love that commercial because you just get to see all these cool little pop culture things, and it's a lot of fun. They even did some like crazy movie references, which was even like more insane. And so I really like that commercial. I love the over the topness of it, and just the fun that it has. It has been a lot of fun. Other commercial movie trailer that popped out here recently was the trailer to the new Fast and Furious 9 movie. And when you you kind of think, wow, they were really ridiculous last few movies. There's no way they can get more, and they get more ridiculous, man. It turns out Dom, or Vin Diesel's character, has a long lost brother we couldn't see him because he was John Cena. So like, yeah, John Cena is like Dom, like Vince. Fuck me. I keep mixing the names, but he's like his long lost brother, who's apparently like a secret agent, spy, murderer type thing. I don't know if he's good or bad. I guess he's bad, and I don't even know anymore. Like I'm so done with trying to keep track of what the hell's going on with the Fast and Furious movies. Although what does have me excited about this movie is they bring back, I think his name's Han, or I can't remember what his name was in the movies. He's the one in Tokyo Drift who dies. And like they bring him back for like the first set of like new Fast Furious movies that were kind of, I guess, prequels to Tokyo Drift. Then he dies. Then they go after his killer. But then now he's back. So was going after his killer like just kind of a moot point then? Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what to think anymore. This is getting way more ridiculous. It's crazier than a Marvel movie at this point. And I feel like I need to start watching them because he was like one of my favorite characters. And like, I loved Tokyo Drift, not for the movie itself, but for the cars, and just, I love anime and the Japanese cultures. So Yakuza and shit, like that was pretty cool. But so that was like weird and interesting and kind of just right up my alley, sort of, like, so to speak. Wow. Now I don't know. No. I was looking at this article back in January 24th by a guy named Dan Sheehan, and he makes the claim that more Americans are actually going to the library than the movies, which kind of sounds crazy at first, like when you're just like, who wants to read a fucking book? And then I think about it, especially for me personally. So I visited my public library, my shitty hometown public library. And it's not shitty because like it's a shitty building or anything. It just doesn't have a lot of what I'm looking for there. And we're having to wait to get what I want when I can just, look it up online. Kind of, but it's free, and actually my son enjoys going to the public library a lot. And like, after thinking about all that, we've actually visited my public library, I would say at least 1 to 2 times a week, versus I haven't been to the movies at all this year. I went last year to watch, what the hell did me and my wife watch? Frozen 2. And then I know we watched Endgame and Far From Home. Those were we watched 3 movies last year. I stepped foot into a movie theater 3 times last year, versus this year alone in January, I've already been to my public library at least 4 times. So when I think about it that way, it kind of makes sense, man. It's just, one, is cheaper. It is 100 times cheaper to go to the library. I don't know of any library that you have to pay to get in. There might be some that are like super awesome, but but I don't know any of that you pay to get in, which is kind of a big plus for libraries. Hey, it's free. You can rent or borrow DVDs, CDs, VHSs, like old school shit, and books, magazines. So there's a lot of cool stuff if you're into that kind of thing. Like if you like to check out old magazines in your library, like maybe collect National Geographic, Time, you can check out old issues and old stories that were huge deals, and it's kind of a cool thing when you think about it. Plus, if you don't have a lot of DVDs like us, we don't collect too many DVDs anymore because of streaming services, but there's sometimes when there's a movie that's not on literally any streaming service and you don't really feel like paying $5 on YouTube or Amazon Prime to rent it, you can head over to your public library and just check it out, man, and so like I kind of agree with this claim, 2019, well, he says in 2019, I feel like it's maybe even further than that people are, at least Americans, are kind of like, hey, let's go to the library, There's children's sections where they can do stuff and keep you company. For me, there's comics now, like even my crappy library has a few comics that I haven't read or checked out that interest me, that I'll pick up and start reading. So it's kind of a cool thing, dude. Speaking of cool things, this next news, looks like Atari is getting into the hotel game. They say, hey, if Donald Trump can fucking do it, we can do it. So they're planning on building 8 fancy Atari branded gaming hotels to be built across the United States. One of them looks like it's going to be somewhere near Austin, Texas. So kind of cool. That's near me. Maybe we can get a chance to check it out. The article that I've been reading is from Kotaku, the website, and they're saying that they want to like have their own esports studio and like a gaming playground. I guess a place where you can do like LAN parties and stuff. Maybe have like arcades that feature a lot of Atari games and stuff, and like restaurants and bar. I mean, because all hotels have like restaurants and bars. They want to do movie theaters in there, meeting rooms, bakery, gym. Like, I mean, the whole 9 yards with these. I'm guessing like Disney-like resort hotels, but I can't think of the last time I've been like, man, I can't wait to like pull out my Atari game today. Like, I mean, I'm not saying Atari doesn't have any classic games that we all know and love, but hell, I don't know of any video game hotels now that I'm like, hey, I want to go to. Like, I don't think there are any, or if there are, they're not very popular. I think focusing on some esports stuff and gaming stuff would be a cool little like niche thing, but I don't think it's going to be enough to like keep this thing going. I feel like it's a neat little thing to try doing, but I don't think it's going to last. Although one of my favorite comments someone posted on here was like, hey, if it's going to be like a actual gaming hotel, there better not be any showers in it. And I started laughing. Of course, because everyone says gamers and like comic book nerds and everything and anime people don't shower and stink and always do like really stupid, shitty things. And for the most part, that's kind of true. I can't tell you, like, I shower. I love to shower. I love being in the water, but I cannot tell you how many times I go to conventions and I get stuck in lines or next to people and they absolutely reek. And it's always like, there's you're envisioning it in your head what this person looks like. And I guarantee you that's what that person always looks like. Sometimes, oh man, I can't even, I don't want to relive that at all. You know what I do want to relive though? It looks like Mortal Kombat is coming back with an animated movie this year. Or no, not this year. I'll figure it out as I talk more about it. But, so of course Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat, and they're coming out with a new R-rated animated film called Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. It looks, they have a trailer out for it now. It is in the style of like Warner Brothers DC movies, and I am so on board for this fucking movie. It looks really awesome getting to see all the characters come back, like Raiden, Luke Cage, Luke Cage, Johnny Storm, Goro, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya, excuse me, but just so many people. Shang Tsung's in it. I think I saw Reptile in one scene, Katana. So this is kind of freaking cool, man. I haven't really watched anything from Warner Brothers as far as their animated stuff is concerned, but this might be my first like foray into it. I think Mortal Kombat will be the thing that gets me watching more of DC's animated universe, because one, I've always heard nothing but great things from their animated universe. It looks like they always are on point with DC animated, and I think watching this will kind of gauge my feelings and if I go forward with watching anything else from them. I'm pretty stoked. Mortal Kombat's been like one of my favorite video games growing up, and I just can't wait to see what they do. What I can wait to see who does anything is Adam Sandler, because he just signed another deal with Netflix, a $275 million deal to make 4 more films with Netflix. And it's not that I don't like Adam Sandler, guys. I love his SNL stuff. I love a lot of his earlier movies that he did, like Big Daddy. What was it? Mr. Deeds is probably one of my favorite movies that he's done. But, and Happy Gilmore is always a classic. And, what was it? Waterboy, super awesome. But I don't know if it's like it sounds bad to say, but I feel like I've grown out of Adam Sandler movies, and he's had some really good serious movies. Like Spanglish is actually one of my favorite movies of his that isn't just like an outright comedy. Click is really good too, and gets really heartfelt in it as well. But I think just here recently, I just haven't been turned on to his movies. I hear there's one that just recently came out that's supposedly really, really good, but I just didn't have an interest for it. I didn't have an interest in like that Western that he was a part of, or anything that really he's done with Netflix in general. So, I mean, it's great for him. It's good stuff. I'm not saying he's not funny, because he is a funny guy. I feel like I've grown out of Adam Sandler. I feel like I've just grown away from him. We're not friends anymore. I don't know who he is anymore. Like, we used to be close. We used to know each other. We used to hang out all the fucking... No. But if you guys are big fans of Adam Sandler, this is great news for y'all. I mean, it's interesting. It's pop culture. It's an actor who I have really enjoyed in the past. I'm just not as interested now as maybe I would have been 10, 15 years ago, So... Well, probably just 10 years ago. Yeah, we'll just say 10 years ago. Anyway, that's it for the Nifty Nerd News, guys. Thank you for sticking around this long. I actually talked a bit longer than I thought I would. Just had some things I wanted to talk to you guys about, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Or I at least had a lot of fun doing it. Anyway, thank you for sticking around this long. If you want to stick around for the comic book that I am going to review for this week, it is the new Magnificent Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, of course, with new writers on board. Saladin Ahmed, art by Minkyu Jung. Inks are by Juan Velasco, colors by Ian Herring, and the letterer is Joe Caramanga, Caramanga. So, stick around for that if you want to hear more. If you want to bounce, you can bounce, but you're going to miss out on some cool comics, and definitely a positively charged one. Oh shit, I gave you the rating already. So let's hurry up and get into the comic book for review. All right, guys, welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. Today we are looking at that Magnificent Miss Marvel, issues number 1 through 5, which is probably going to be the first trade. It's from last year, 2019. Of course, I read all my comic books on Marvel Unlimited, so that's why things are always a day late, dollar short when it comes to my comic book reviews. But if you are a Marvel Unlimited subscriber as well, we're on the same page. We're having a lot of fun, and maybe this is new to you, or maybe this is a character you've just kind of always heard about and never had the push to try to enjoy. And hopefully, after listening to this, you'll get that push to enjoy. Or maybe not, because sometimes I make fun of comic books, and sometimes I make fun of them a little too hard. So anyway, let's start off. So, like I said, Kamala Khan first came out on the scene, I think, back in 2014, 2016, somewhere in that time frame. Written by G. Willow Wilson, and it was phenomenal. The artwork was great. There was tons of gags in the back of like scenes and stuff, and it was just fun writing. I will say I did not catch as many gags like Easter eggs in these issues as I did with the first series, and I kind of missed it. That was like one of my favorite things about the first Miss Marvel comics, is there was always more fun each read through because you always found something new. And where I felt like in these ones, it wasn't so much like, I didn't get a little treat every time I read it, but it's got a strong story, great artwork, and will just kind of let you make your own opinions on the story from there. So immediately in issue 1, we kind of get like someone's narrating, and it turns out it's like this alien from a future world, pretty freaking far away as it seems, and they're retelling the story of their world's greatest hero, who somewhat looks very similar to Kamala Khan, and it looks like that's who it actually is. Wears the giant ass electric like lightning bolt across the chest, and like the same type of outfit with the scarf and everything. So it looks like that's who they're talking about, Kamala Khan. And the story that they're telling to their child, though, seems a bit like a little more than what Kamala is, like she's noble, she's grace, she's beauty. And then you're watching what's happening in the present with Kamala, and she's rude and talks a lot of crap and sloppy. It's fun, it's funny, and it's part of the joke there. And what's great too is you kind of get to recap everything that's happened like previously, like through the first 2 series of Kamala Khan, when she kind of recaps everything to her best friend Nakia, who she's just decided to tell about, her being Miss Marvel and like everything that she's had to go through with all that. But someone else finds out by the end of this issue, and it's her dad, or her Abu, and it turns out her mom, or her Ummi, spilled the beans. And what's great about this comic, I mentioned Abu and Ummi, it uses a lot of like Pakistani words and phrases, but it doesn't like leave you out of what they mean. They give you enough context clues to figure out what's going on, so that way you don't know, like you don't feel all like, oh god, I'm reading some crazy like la 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 shit, like no, like it makes sense. Oh, these are humans too, and they're just they love each other like we love our family. Who would have thought? And so issue 2, actually Kamala is thrown down this really dark hole when it appears that her parents literally die in her arms, or like disappear, melt away in her arms. Bruno, her best friend and kind of like man crush, or boy crush, and he crushes on her. He steps in big time to help out, pick her up, put her on her feet, pull her up by her bootstraps, and they get on the case to figure out what the hell's going on. Then they get a visit from one of Kamala's newer villains, Discord, a.k.a. Josh. Josh, Kamala's classmate turned villain, or turned evil henchman. I don't know. He shows up to enact his revenge on Kamala, but Kamala ain't having none of his shit today. She's just like, you know what? Fuck you, Josh. And not maybe those words. Kind of like spills, like, my parents have been kidnapped. I'm going to fuck you up because you're at fault for this. He's like, whoa, hold on. What happened to you, like, Mr. and Mrs. Khan? Like, I would never do anything like that. That is like evil shit, man. I ain't trying to be evil. I'm just trying to like pay off my debts. And so it's kind of funny and stuff like that. They actually figure out that extraterrestrials are behind the kidnapping and behind like these crazy new villains that are showing up and melting away just like her parents did. And it turns out like maybe these extraterrestrial people are kind of evil, or maybe just misguided, possibly a cult even, because they worship Kamala. Like they're like, this is our deity. This is the chosen one. This is the girl who will come back and save us from evil, like beast people type of shit. And like Kamala loves it. She loves the attention. Finally, people are not like making her mad and trying to like like devalue what she is to the community. These are people who are happy for Kamala, happy for Miss Marvel. And so she's like, hell yeah, I'm going to go with you to save your planet. But Ami and Abu step up and are like, whoa. If anyone's going anywhere, we're taking a family road trip. So they get sent to this gigantic palace where Kamala's got even more worshipers and like more people. And it's starting to get a little creepy, you know. They actually end up finding a prisoner who claims things aren't as they seem, which was kind of my, you know, instinct to begin with anyway. And Kamala's parents, honestly, were kind of like, this just seems a little weird. Like, we get our girl special, but come on, you know. We got one God, Allah, and he ain't about this life, you know. But Kamala's loving it. But, you know, she's starting to listen to this prisoner and is like, you know what? Yeah, maybe something is wrong because you looked fucked. Like, you look like you got beat. Oh, and that's your dad who's doing it to you? Your dad, the king, who's doing that to you? Yeah, this is bad shit, man. So they all escape, make it out to the sewers and finally get to like where the resistance is. And people are still even over there like, whoa, dude, you're kind of like the one who's going to save us all. And Kamal's like, I'm so over that shit right now. After she's talking with the prince, though, she kind of has a little flashback because she's reminded of Bruno and something that she saw with Bruno. Because we knew that there was kind of tension, like I think in the end of issue 1, there's mention of some tension between them and unfinished business. Well, you get a look into that, and actually it has something to do with her father. Her father also kind of mentioned something in issue 1 that something's not right, something he needs to tell Kamala about. And it might be what Kamala flashbacks to here in issue 4, where she and Bruno are walking about to talk about their relationship and what they expect from each other, or like, you know, what kind of relationship they want with each other. And Kamala sees her dad, her Abu, walking with another woman. And so currently Kamala's walking with a shirtless, muscle-bound prince guy, and he's macking on her in front of her freaking parents. And it's just some crazy shit going on. Now, Evil King shows up and to, like, you know, fuck them up. But before things get a little too frisky, the evil Beast Lord dudes now show up. The people who everyone thought, nah, that's not real. That's just some, like, stupid cult believing. Now it's real. Now it's something that's really happening. And now we go into issue 5, and it's the Battle of the Beasts. Father and son, their armies team up to take on the Beast Thanes, but it's not looking good. And it seems like the only hope that there is Kamala to get to like this this very mysterious floating machine war building thing. I don't know. There's a crazy car chase going on. Kamala ends up making it on and learns that it's actually of Kree origin. And it looks like it's like a previous, like, quote unquote Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel, someone who looks very much like Kamala and has a very similar outfit to Kamala. In fact, Kamala gets an outfit upgrade a la like Iron Spider type look, and she can do crazy shit with it. And with this newfound stuff, like of these Kree order, like she was only able to get close to it because of, I guess, the Kree blood in her system and because of her, you know, she's an Inhuman. But the weird thing was her parents weren't able to get close to it, which you would think if Kamala has inherited that gene, they should also have that gene with them and be able to come aboard, but they weren't. So that brings a lot of questions and some curious things going on. Anyway, so now, like, she's able to save her parents, save the planet, get everything taken care of, and needs to go back home. But, like, the aliens try to cut her a deal, basically like, hey, we'll send you back home, and we'll also throw in a favor for you. They make her parents forget that she's Miss Marvel. Like, her parents have no idea that she's Miss Marvel, which kind of was one of the conflicts going into this story anyway. Her mother and father knew, and they didn't want her to be a superhero. They, you know, it's bad, it's dangerous, she's got to focus on other things in life. And as it turns out, her father is sick. Very, very sick, and there's no cure for the sickness that he has. And so Kamala's got to deal with that, man. But now she doesn't have to deal with parents egging her on about being a superhero. She gets a little bit of secrecy back by the end of this first story arc, and so it kind of like all comic books do, it kind of resets things so that way we can have more storytelling and get into some more things with it. I clown on like retconning a lot of times because Marvel, DC, everyone, the big two, is notorious for that kind of shit where they take established facts and then change them for just to tell more story, you know. So I don't know. We'll see going forward with Miss Marvel, the Magnificent Miss Marvel. So far, though, I dig it. Got a new costume. Gives her kind of a bit new power set in a way. Definitely makes her a little more powerful because the suit's capable of doing so much more than just her regular clothing that she used to wear. So I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool to see where that goes. We'll see how long the new Kree suit lasts. But I like it, you know. I guess it is a good thing that her parents don't know anymore, so that's not going to be a cause of contention going forward. She'll be able to freely roam out of the house without having to deal with her parents knowing, you know, and Aunt May knowing or anything like that. And I'm excited to see how she deals with her father's illness, how she deals with trying to balance being there for him and being there for her community as well. And then, of course, we have the relationship between her and Bruno. What's that going to be like? How strained is that going to be? Of course, her and her friends. Josh showing up. Is that going to be a bigger thing going forward? There's a lot of questions that I have with the Magnificent Ms. Marvel, and I want to read it. You know, it makes me excited. I really enjoy what they bring to the table when they do Kamala's stories, and so it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to read more. Like I said, though, love the artwork on it. It doesn't have as many Easter eggs as the previous or the predecessors, but it's good, it's solid, and it's a lot of fun. Story is actually really entertaining. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. They went really galactic with it, or intergalactic with it, so I want it to come back home for a little bit and more grounded. That's what I've really liked about Kamala's stuff, is she's always been a little more grounded, a little less crazy in her main book, but this was kind of like a nice, neat little pace to kind of kick us off with a new story, Magnificent Miss Marvel. And now we'll get to see like what deeper stuff that this writer has planned and moving forward. As far as a rating goes for it, has a positive charge for me. I can't wait to see more with Miss Marvel. But that's going to be it for this week, guys. Thank you for sticking around for the comic book review portion of the Bry-Fy podcast. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, be sure to come out to Austin, the Crown Plaza in Austin, February 14th through 16th. I'm going to try to make it out there at least one day for Geeks of Color Expo 2020. It should be a lot of fun. If you are a geek and a geek of color, I recommend you come out and enjoy the show with me. But that's all we got for today, and we will see y'all next week. Bry-Fy out.